£1 a day. So this strike action is going to cost us about £300 million. What I find extraordinary about the situation that we're in is that the BMA, when this government came in, having been treated badly by the Conservatives, we don't doubt that, this government came in and gave resident doctors a 28.9% pay rise, and they still went on strike. We put a deal to the BMA, which we had negotiated in good faith with their officers who endorsed the deal and put it to their committee. It included a 4.9% pay rise this year on average, as high as 7.1% for some of their members. They still went on strike. It would have created an extra 4,500 training places, 1,000 materialising this month, and they still went on strike. Would have cancelled mandatory exam fees, costing resident doctors thousands of pounds, and they've still gone on strike.
They say that's because pay is still a fifth lower in this offer than it was in 2008. You say that the cost of the strike is about £50 million a day. The BMA is saying, well, if you paid that to doctors, then perhaps we could get closer to finding a deal.
So I'd say two things. Firstly, there's a reason why the BMA choose 2008 as the benchmark for where they think pay should be tracked back to. That's because in 2008, we'd had a Labour government for just over a decade, and they had enjoyed consistent pay rises under that Labour government. This Labour government has been for less than 2 years. Resident doctors have been the standout winners of the entire public sector, and they've still gone on strike. I don't doubt that over more than a decade of Conservative government, the pay of resident doctors and the entire public sector was eroded. That fact is not in dispute. I don't pretend that in less than 2 years, a Labour government has solved all of the issues facing resident doctors, but I would also ask the BMA not to pretend that a Labour government can solve all of the problems of more than a decade in the making in less than 2 years. Negotiation is about give and take. Getting this country out of the mess it is in, thanks to more than a decade of Conservative government, requires all of us to pull together. The government's done a lot of giving, the BMA's done a lot of taking.
OK, so can you confirm no more money for doctors? Are you prepared just to ride out these strikes? This is the 15th since 2023.
Yes, we will mitigate against strike action. We'd prefer it not to take place. I've never closed the door to the BMA. The offer is there, albeit now without the training places that would have materialised this month. And as the costs of BMA strike action mounts up, what I am not prepared to do is to make other groups of NHS staff pay. So we're currently in negotiation with nurses, midwives, other NHS staff, many of whom are never paid as much in their entire careers as the lowest paid doctors. I'm not going to allow the costs of the BMA strike action to impact on them when many of them don't earn as much as doctors. The other thing I'd say on affordability is this. BMA staff, the staff who work for the BMA, have themselves been out on strike because of a 2.75% pay offer they've received from the BMA. How does the BMA justify such a low pay offer? Affordability grounds. So the BMA seem to be saying, we can't afford to give our staff 2.75%, but the taxpayer should give our doctors another 28% on top of that, which they've already had.
I want to pick you up on the issue of removing the 1,000 specialty training places from the offer. Isn't that cutting off your nose to spite your face? I mean, obviously the resident doctors will be disappointed, but isn't this bad news for the NHS as well, to lose that speciality?
No, look, there aren't fewer jobs as a result of this, because what we were doing is converting locally employed doctor posts into training places. The reason why resident doctors will be disappointed, and many of them are, is because those training places come with more pay and career progression opportunities for those doctors. I'll be candid, I have not had NHS leaders banging on my door demanding more of these places. The reason why we negotiated these training places because I recognised there were bottlenecks that were affecting resident doctors. I haven't taken those places away. The BMA rejected them. Their position seems to be, we reject the deal, but we expect the benefits to materialise. Can you imagine what you and your viewers would be saying to me this morning if the BMA rejected this deal, went out on strike, cost the NHS £300 million, and the government said, but we're still going to give them the benefits of the deal. You would think I had lost the plot. We are not.